You may notice that I haven't changed shirts. I still got my hat on because I didn't comb my hair this morning, get my headphones. You're looking the same as the episode you just saw, this past episode. Well, it's because we're recording right after this. And the reason why is because in the story previous, when you talked about Jim, the water cup, the water cooler incident, right? Having fun with it. We were talking about Jim. We were having some fun. You know, you never know when you're going to catch someone on a bad day. And I found myself kind of, yeah, man, yeah, that sucks. But Jim, what are you thinking? How could you come unhinged? Why are you throwing water jugs at people? By the way, if you haven't seen that episode, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You got to go back and watch that episode to really fully appreciate the one you're going to hear now. Think of it like a part one, part two of people becoming unhinged at work. The whole story you told before reminded me of a time where I became unhinged at work. So, first, I want to tell you, and please, you know how we go back and forth. Ask me questions, ask me clarifications, but this will be a quicker episode, but I'm going to
Yep.
walk you through this situation. Jim and I have more in common than you might think.
Wow.
So I just moved back from New York, New Jersey. You know, I was out there, studying acting, and I got from acting into the storytelling thing. And then once I got the storytelling thing, I found my art. But one of the things I also found was how much debt I was in because of student debt. Couldn't afford to live in New York anymore. Come back to the Cleveland area. Mixed feelings about it, but then realizing, thank God I did because I love this region. Made a life here. Couldn't be more happy doing my thing, storytelling from Northeast Ohio. Let's get to work doing
Shout out
BID
to
with you.
Ohio.
Shout out to Ohio. Welcome us back. Shout out to the internet. Thanks for being here. Thanks for
Shout out
making
to
this
the
possible. Shout out
damn
to
internet.
microphones. Seriously, shout out to podcast platforms. Shout out to YouTube. We couldn't do this from Ohio if being in this kind of space we're in if we didn't have this technology. So very lucky and very blessed for that. So I'm back here, but here's the problem. You know, when you move from one place to another, especially in a career, especially in the creative space, artistic space, you have to find bridge jobs between when you get your roots planted in the new place, you start building your networks, you start figuring out what you're going to do. And I hadn't started podcasting yet, but I was starting to tour around the country. But I was building it and I wasn't doing it enough where I can make a full-time living. So I ended up getting this job and I was looking for anything really. Again, we
Right.
talked about sales. Well, I got this interview for a college admissions advisor. Now, really what this is, and by the way, just a quick preview, there'll be a whole nother episode of BID where I break this down. You know the story. In fact, it's the story of the monologue I took all over the country talking about for-profit colleges. And I got this job at this for-profit college, not knowing what kind of like scams they were and some of the bad practices. But here's basically what I was doing, bro. I was a salesperson. I was an admissions advisor. Here's what I'm doing. I'm selling rental cars. Would you like to upgrade? Would you like the insurance? Come on in. And I didn't like that job, but I needed it for at least a couple months to pay the rent until the tour thing started taking off. We've all been there, right? You're negotiating like, okay, I don't really like this place, but I can't quit or else we're going to get evicted. I was in that kind of a space. So just to give you a heads up, right? Thinking about Jim from last episode, I was already in a bad headspace, meaning I didn't want to be there. I didn't like the environment. So here's the environment. We got 4 or 5 admissions advisors. We're all sitting in a small office, cubicles. Hey, everybody, hey, cubicles. Hey, we're all typing. Hey. And then, of course, you got a manager walking up and down the hallway, just kind of side-eyeing you. Every time you walk by, every time they're looking at you, what's going on in here? And then you're kind of pretending to work. This whole song and dance we have to do. We're all wearing clown masks. What are we doing? I'm Ronald McDonald coming with big shoes, pretending to work. I hate this job. This is a terrible industry. But we're all playing the game. We're all in the theater. It's all
You're a pawn on somebody else's chessboard.
That's all I'm doing. Just move me up, checkmate. That's what happens, right? We all play this game. So I'm doing the game. I'm pretending. And the mood is kind of like that too, because no one really wanted to do this job. This was sort of like a sales job for money. Usually we had some good banter, like playful. You know how it goes. You got to lighten the mood. But I came in one day and I was feeling really kind of frustrated. And I didn't really like the people in the office. It wasn't a bad thing. I just didn't like the vibe. And I especially didn't like my manager. I came in. Maybe I didn't have my coffee that morning. Maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, just a little cranky. But I was just like, just get through the day. But I was feeling irritable.
Maybe you woke up feeling like Jim that day, not to cut you off.
I could have been. You don't know. Anyway. Yeah, you don't know. I could have been. And it's just like, nothing goes right that morning. You know what I'm saying? I stubbed my toe, couldn't find the shirt I wanted to wear, looking a little disheveled. I push, and I only thing I got to say to myself is the only thing I have to say to myself is I'm going to push through this day. Go in my little cubicle and sit down. Now, I'm not going to use this guy's first name. I told you there's a few admissions advisors, but there was a relatively new guy that started around my age, and we'll call him Dave. And Dave, kind of a nice guy, but kind of a bro, right? So kind of, alpha.
Right.
And I'm kind of an alpha too, but I'm also not like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not busting people's balls when I first meet them. I'm very courteous, quiet, keep to myself. Hey, how you doing? I do my job. We're not here to be friends.
Let's get that out of the way.
This isn't speed dating. I don't want to go to happy hour with you afterwards. In these kind of environments, I don't want to be friends with people. No offense. I come into work to do a job. I don't want to go to happy hour. I don't want to really hang out. I got a life. I come here to make money. It's not a family.
It's a job.
You're not my cousin. We're not a cookout. And I don't want to pretend that we are. Why are we playing this game? So it's not that I'm not courteous, but that also means that I don't want to be messing around or like doing extra stuff. So I come into the office that morning, and I'll say this, there's Dave, right? Dave started, he's kind of a bro. And he's nice, but his energy is kind of aggressive. So I remember him being like, hey, what's up, man? What's up, Aaron? Hey, Dave, what's up? How you doing, man? How you see the game last night? Yeah, Dave, I saw the game. Just want to sit down. And he was really talkative that morning. And I just kind of, okay, yep, I saw the score. Cool. Oh, funny joke about this. All right. So I sit down in my cubicle. Now he's like 2 or 3 cubicles away. I'm typing and I'm sending these emails, by the way, required emails. Make sure and send your updates, send your return emails, mark your calendars.
How about I don't?
How about I don't? How about I don't participate in this fucking rat race? How about that? Well, that's what I felt, but I was participating. Next thing I know, a little piece of paper falls right on my keyboard.
Here we go.
First thing I do is I look up at the ceiling. I'm like, oh man, it's weird. It's like something wrong with the ceiling.
Something's falling out of the ceiling.
Oh, is it drywall? Hope it's not asbestos. We've seen that before, right? Who knows? It could get rusted out. Hope it's not anthrax. What's going to happen? So I literally, it sounds weird, but I kind of was like, oh, that's weird. I just kind of put it aside and I just kept typing. I didn't really investigate. I thought literally it was just something that fell from my desk or something. A couple seconds later, another balled up piece of paper. I hear some laughing. Yeah. So I don't know where this is coming from, right? So I'm looking like, okay, I said, okay, someone's throwing paper. There's a couple girls in front of me. Then there's Dave. He's just kind of like looking like, Aaron, what's wrong? Everyone's playing. Okay, cool. We're in 5th grade. Okay.
We're in 5th grade.
We're in
it's
5th
fine.
grade.
Everything's cool. Fine.
I just want to make sure we're on the same level. We're in 5th grade and you're balling a piece of paper. You're throwing them at me. By the way, I didn't do anything. I just walked into the office.
Let me just,
yeah.
Let me just ask a question. So like in this moment, do you feel that you're being targeted or do you feel that there's still, we're at 2 now. We
Mm-hmm.
had possible asbestos, anthrax, ceiling tile potential.
Right.
Wasn't that. Piece of paper hits again. Is it possible that somebody's maybe missing a wastebasket? Or do you feel I'm being targeted?
Love how you're breaking this down. I'm asking myself those same questions.
It's an internal thing right now.
When I hear the laughing, it puts me over the edge. Because at this point, I'm not in a laughing mood. I'm like, Jim, I'm not in a laughing mood. Anthony, I'm frustrated. It's a tough month. Rent's due. Not making a lot of money. Kind of walked away from New York into, I'm just in a space of kind of like just trying to get on my feet. A lot of psychological things happening. I hear the laughing. It's the second time. I ignore it. So I don't come unhinged right away. I don't come unhinged. Okay, cool. I go, hey, whoever's doing that. Okay, guys, got it. Cut it out. Okay.
Very funny. Very funny.
I start typing again. About 5 rolled up pieces come showering down at me like a meteor shower.
It's the 4th of July going off. They're coming from everywhere. It's now raining pieces of bald paper.
Now I'm pissed. And I look outside my cubicle, right? I hear some laughing again. Yeah. I got surveillance cameras going. I see Dave, and his face is red. He's laughing. Yuck, 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 yuck. It's all fun and games, Dave. And I see him like moving stuff around on his desk. I found the culprit. It's Dave.
He's reloading.
He's Dave's, and it's been going on 1 time, 2 times. I said stop 3 times. He throws a meteor shower. Listen, if I'm listening to this, I might be on Dave's side. If it didn't happen to me, I'd be like, hey, we're just having fun in the office. We're throwing paper. Get over it, man.
The first thing that goes through my mind is in the movie Elf, when Will Ferrell throws all the snowballs in his hands like this.
Yep. That's what's happening to me.
So
I'm on the other side of it. Yep. Grenades.
He's reloading in his desk.
He's reloading.
Little does he know, you're about to cross a line.
So I lean out of the cubicle and I go, Dave, I got it. It's kind of fun. And I said, I just want to give you a heads up. Don't throw another piece of paper. Now I'm making it. Listen, this is a little different than Jim. It's not a one-time thing. Maybe I'm different than Jim, right? It's not a one-time thing. I got 1, 2, 3. It's now on a 4th. Like this is multiple times. And I said stop once, and then I lean out and I said, like I'm talking to a kid, knock it off. Talking to my son, knock it off.
You got the dad hat on.
Got the dad hat. I got the dad look. You do it again, you're out of here. You understand? And I'm looking. So I just said, in all seriousness, I said, Dave, come on, bro. Stop. I'm serious. I'm trying to work. Oh, yeah. Okay. A minute or 2 goes by, and I'm in the clear.
You're fine.
I'm fine. I'm typing away. A ball of paper about the size of a softball comes over and hits me in the head. Now, I got to take you into this moment. Because at this moment, I don't remember much. No, I want to say this seriously. This for anything triggering. This wasn't I wasn't out of control. I wasn't literally out of control. But when I say I didn't remember much, I was so angry that things go really quick. When you get your adrenaline going, it's like you're on another level. And what happened here though was I got so upset because of all the warnings. I said stop. Next thing I know, I've knocked my chair over and I've sprinted towards Dave.
Oh no.
This is a college admissions office. There's students waiting to get in the hallway. There's people taking tests. Their futures are on the line. I got a manager walking up and down the hallway. You talk about Top Gun? Beep, 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 beep.
You're zoning in.
I'm zoning on Dave. All I know is I sprinted towards him, and I knew that in the moment I was angry, and I thought emotionally, I didn't know what to do. It was going back to like the schoolyard. Like I'm gonna fight this guy. Like I'm gonna fight this guy.
Right.
So, but I also was thinking in my adult brain, you're stuck. Like you've now run towards him. What are you gonna do? Stop? So the only thing I could think to do, I picked Dave up by his shirt. Imagine if you're one or the other. I grab him by his shirt. I pin him against the wall. I put my forearm against his, and I'm not saying, but like pinned him against his like chest, neck area. Not like really, but I got him pinned. It was a way for me to pin him against the wall. And you're
pulling wrestling moves out.
I point my finger at his face. I got him pinned. And I said, here's what I said. And I'm just saying this honestly. This is a story. Please, you can't. I said, you do that one more time, I put you in the ground. I don't know where that came from, but I said,
we have a new shirt.
You do that one more time. I said, I put you in the ground. Now, I'm literally not going to, but it was my way of saying, if you thought I was effing serious before, now you know. And his face, white as a ghost. He knew he had crossed a line that he shouldn't have crossed. All the color, all the life drained from his face. And I have never seen a person more terrified. And in fact, when that happened, two things happened. One, I felt pretty good. I'm going to be honest,
Sure.
because
Let's be honest.
my message was sent. Didn't want to hurt him, but my message was sent that you've crossed the line. At this point, let's be honest with you, I'm defending myself. Not physically, but a boundary was crossed. I said stop 4 times, got the guy against the wall. I let him down, and I even said, like, hey, like, no harm, no foul. I just need you to understand this is not the day to do this.
Right.
Everyone in the office is just stunned. I'm stunned. Dave's stunned. The girls thought they were laughing before. It's fucking crickets now.
There's no laughter.
There's no laughing. There's no laugh track anymore. It's all you could hear is a pin drop. Okay? So at this point, I'm starting to feel some regret because I realized, one, I just scared the shit out of everybody in the office. I let my temper frustration get the best of me. Clearly, I didn't punch him, hit him, assault. I mean, bordering assault. But I basically did just physically show my presence and tell him to stop to do it again. And if not, I was gonna fight him. Basically, is what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're gonna turn this into a fight. You want to go outside? I kind of slump back to my desk, and I'm almost now embarrassed because of what happened. Because now, even though it felt good, I was like, oh, the regret comes in. I'm like, God, and I had never done anything like this before. Like, I gotten in fights at school and stuff, but in an office, like, this is like, God, what am I, Jim? Like, I'm throwing water coolers across. So I start walking through this. Here's the end of the story. I walk in the hallways just to get some air. I'm walking. Imagine this. After everything that happened, I'm power walking in the hallways to get my steps in just to clear my head. I go to the break room to get a cup of coffee. Not the best coffee. They should have upgraded their game, but the bottom line is we had coffee. Grateful for it. So I went in and had my crappy cup of coffee. And who's standing in there but Dave? And now he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. And I said, and the only thing I was like, hey, I just want to let you know. I said, I'm really sorry, man. I reacted in that way, but you really made me angry. I just want you to know I apologize for my aggressiveness.
That's
and
deep.
He said, and you know what happens? Dave says, I wanted to tell you, I apologize for pushing you to that. He goes, I've been having a crappy week and a crappy day, and I was just pushing buttons and looking for a fight. He's like, I got one. And he's like,
wow.
and he goes, and you came to me. He's like, I respect you for checking me and defending yourself and coming up to me and letting me know, hey, I'm not messing around. We start chatting. I'm only there for 6 more months. Dave and I are the best friends at work friends for 6 months straight.
Shout out to friendship.
Shout out to Dave. Not only that, when my career starts taking off and I'm touring this monologue that I was talking about student debt around the country, I'm starting the rocket ship to live my dream. I have a stop in Chicago a couple of years down the road. I'm on the stage doing the monologue, doing my thing, telling stories like we do here on BID. And I look out in the crowd. There's Dave.
Wow.
With his fiance. They come up to me after the show. We hug it out. He goes, I heard you were in town. I moved. I quit there too. What a hellhole. I had to come see the show because in the show I talked about the place we worked at. Didn't tell the story about me and Dave, but other things that were going on there regarding student debt and all this stuff. He goes, I had to come see the show. He goes, it was one of the best stories I've ever heard. He's like, I will be a lifelong supporter of yours.
Wow.
Shout out to Dave. Shout out to the staff. Shout out to forgiveness. Shout out to Full Circle. Shout out to Redemption. Let's get to work. Shout out to BID. There's my story.
This is unbelievable. I didn't I remember parts of this from you sharing it, but I'm like, wow, does that come full circle at the end, man? Dude. I am so happy that you had that beautiful ending. And it's like to think about, and we can end this on it. The whole thing is unbelievable. But like, seriously, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
We don't know what somebody's going through. We don't know what Jim is feeling when he walks in that day. And all it takes is that one. It's a bird shitting on a rock that goes down the hill. It's just that last, there it is. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All it takes sometimes is one pin drop and someone can lose it. And I think that that's a testament to mental health. It's like, hey, look,
Yep.
like we're all dealing with something. We got to help
Right.
people as best as we can. We don't know what people are going through, but man, what a story.
There
And
it
what
is.
what perfect to come right off of
That last story,
the
great
water
two
cooler.
parts.
So
Great two
please,
parts, man.
for everybody watching, please, if you haven't seen the previous episode that came right at the heels of this one, the water cooler, please make sure you watch that and then directly watch this afterwards.
It's
Shout out to you
shout out
for
to you.
going back and watching. Shout out
Yes.
to BID fans for being BID fans. We appreciate you. Until next week.